My name is Veronica Nkechi Eze.
Charles Abana.
My name is Professor Martins Emeje.
Professor Sylvester Odion Akaine.
Keep
Watching
Souk News TV.
The best news channel online.
It's elevating, it's enlightening, it's educating.
Muhammad Ali found this route in Africa. Rumble in the jungle. I swear the king is humble. Jesse Jackson, O.J. Simpson, this is black history. Andrew Young visit Africa in the late 60s. Legend, Bob Marley make the life different. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are big names. They fought for black Americans in the old days. We need the same revolution in our own ways. Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Mr. Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre and Eddie Murphy. American prosperity ain't complete with African poverty. It's legendary Idris Abdul Karim, and you are on to Souk News. You don't touch that dial.
Tafawa Balewa Square, TBS. Tafawa Balewa Square was initially used as a horsing ground called Lagos Race Course. The edifice was constructed by General Yakubu Gowon in 1972 and named after Nigeria's first Prime Minister, Sir Tafawa Balewa. Tafawa Balewa Square is located at 45/57 Marse Bangboshe Street on Lagos Island, Lagos, and referred to as TBS. TBS is a 50,000-seater capacity venue and houses the Remembrance Arcade, the 26-story Independence House, which at a time was the country's tallest building. When Lagos served as the country's seat of government, the National Assembly Complex was within the TBS. Also in the square are the National Broadcasting Commission Office, the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency Office, shopping centers, travel agencies, restaurants, car parking lots, and a bus terminal. Tafawa Balewa Square is adorned with beautiful statues of white horses and red eagles, symbols of strength and dignity. Our historic neighbors include the King's College and the Holy Cross Cathedral. Tafawa Balewa Square hosted some of the country's memorable events, such as the Independence Day in 1960, when Nigeria gained independence from Britain, the Armed Forces Remembrance Day, which is celebrated annually on January 15. The edifice is a national cultural asset. Tafawa Balewa Square, Souk Enlightenment, the heart of sub-Saharan Africa, where commerce meets progress. Welcome to Souk News, your source for business, economy, and development insight that drive nations forward. From the vibrant streets of Lagos, Africa's fastest economic hub, Souk News takes you on a journey of discovery, analyzing and reporting the facts that lay the foundation for growth and development. We don't just report the news, we create it. Souk News is more than a channel. It is a catalyst for change, spotlighting the stories that shape economies, inspire entrepreneurs, and fuel progress. Covering business, finance, technology, energy, and many more, Souk News provides a daily deep dive into the stories that matter, interviews with industry titans, and analysis that empowers your understanding of economic landscape. Join us daily as we dissect, discuss, and deliver the most relevant and factual news on business and the economy. Souk News is your trusted guide, empowering you with the knowledge to make informed decisions.
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you are on to Souk News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it because this is Souk News.
Shout out to Souk News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souk News. Here's the Souk News who had the courage to transcend a locked off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, Souk News. Thank you very much.
The largest markets in West Africa. Idumota is a historic neighborhood adjacent to the Lagos port that facilitated the slave trade and later, under the British indirect rule, it surrounded to export that fueled the colonial enterprise. Idumota was also the location of an armed forces remembrance cenotaph called Soja Idumota, built as a monument to Nigerian soldiers who served with the West African Frontier Force. An Eyo masquerade statue and a clock tower are also some monuments at Idumota. Idumota market is so popular that large sales are recorded as early as 7 a.m. The market is made up of hundreds of locked-up shops occupying several multi-story buildings, with some measuring about 5 or more floors. In 2010, the Lagos State government demolished some illegal structures in order to improve vehicular and human movement in and around the markets. During weekdays, the neighborhood of Idumota is densely populated by shoppers, traders, and bus passengers. From the Carter Bridge ascending into Lagos Island, passengers can see the neighborhood before disembarking at their final destination. Idumota market accommodates the substantial inflow of imported goods. The bulk of import from abroad are routed first through Idumota and then on to other markets through Nigeria and other West and Central African countries. The energy of private Idumota traders and wholesalers facilitate this activity, where millions of US dollars worth of wholesale is exchanged daily. Idumota Markets, Souk Enlightenment.
Hello and welcome to Market Insights. I am Lavina Emma. Now, analysts at S&P Global Commodity have recently commented that Nigeria has become the largest importer of refined petrol in Africa. Crude oil shipments from the Middle East to Europe have increased significantly following the European Union's ban on Russian oil since April 2023. As a result, surplus refined petrol ships from Europe are heading to Africa, with Nigeria as the major destination. Now, hopefully, this petrol importation from Africa will not last long, because Dangote Refinery will soon start producing over 650,000 barrels per day, which might lead to the exportation of the refined product to Europe and other countries all over the world. Now, in the past, Nigeria has made efforts to reduce the importation of petroleum products. For instance, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited has tried to repair the state-owned refineries in Delta State, in Rivers State, and Kaduna State. The Port Harcourt refinery is almost completed, and it will refine over 60,000 barrels of crude oil daily, while the Delta and Kaduna refineries have reached different stages of completion. So that's the current situation of the Nigeria's importing petroleum products into the country. Yes, we know the NNPCL has tried their best to actually see to it that we stop importing petroleum products, but yet things haven't changed. We are still importing. So that's the current situation of things. Now, recently, we have decided to talk about how the NNPCL can come up with a more permanent solution so that we can curb this importation of petroleum products. So on today's show, we will discuss this burden of petroleum importation, how it is affecting our economy, and how we can change this narrative. So join us after the break.
Wise men. Iconic sculptures and statues adorn major metropolitan cities of the world. In Lagos, Nigeria, the statue of three men designed to depict the state's cultural heritage and to usher in visitors and tourists into the ever.
My name is Dr. Agility Obi.
My name is Etemere Glover.
Naomi. Well done, and shout out to Souk News.
Shout out to Souk News. I want to encourage everyone to keep watching Souk News.
Shout out to Souk News, and yes, tune into them.
Keep watching Souk News. They are one in town.
Hey, we're watching Sook News.
Keep watching Sook News.
Keep watching Sook News. Catch them on YouTube and all social media channels.
Hey, my name is Frank Edowo, and I'm imploring you. No, forget that. I am forcing you, coercing you to always stay tuned to Sook News for your news requirements.
The National Theatre, Igomu. Built during the military regime of Olusegun Obasanjo and finished in the time for the Second World Festival of Black Arts and Culture, FESTAC, in 1977. The theatre holds amazing treasures and memories. The artworks fill everyone with pride. The National Arts Theatre is visible from the motorway which connects Lagos Island and the mainland. The National Theatre is packed with the artworks of legendary contemporary Nigerian artists, stained glass walls by Yusuf Grillo, sculptures and murals by Lamidi Fakeye, Erabo Emopai, and many others. It was put to full use for a month as one of the 4 venues of the Second World Black and African Festival of Arts and Culture, tagged FESTAC 77. The complex hosted 16,000 participants from 56 African countries and the diaspora in an unprecedented showcase of African music, fine art, literature, drama, dance, and religion. The National Arts Theatre was built and designed by Techno Expert Stroll, a Bulgarian company mirroring the Palace of Culture and Sports in Varna, Bulgaria. Completed in 1976, the building is one of the largest and most beautiful of its kind on the African continent. It consists of a central hall with 5,000 seats, a collapsible stage that can be quickly rebuilt, a conference hall with 1,600 seats, 2 large exhibition halls, and 2 cinemas with 800 seats each. The theatre complex has a dressing room for artists, a garage, offices, coffee bars, and a buffet. It has indoor TV and radio systems, as well as booths with facilities for simultaneous translation of languages and hectares of lush green lawn around. The majestic structure sits in Igomu like a quiet mountain, mesmerizing visitors and passers-by. The National Theatre. Souk Enlightenment in the heart of sub-Saharan Africa, where commerce meets progress. Welcome to Souk News, your source for business, economy, and development insight that drive nations forward. From the vibrant streets of Lagos, Africa's fastest economic hub, Souk News takes you on a journey of discovery, analyzing and reporting the facts that lay the foundation for growth and development. We don't just report the news, we create it. Souk News is more than a channel. It is a catalyst for change, spotlighting the stories that shape economies, inspire entrepreneurs, and fuel progress. Covering business, finance, technology, energy, and many more, Souk News provides a daily deep dive into the stories that matter, interviews with industry titans, and analysis that empowers your understanding of economic landscape. Join us daily as we dissect, discuss, and deliver the most relevant and factual news on business and the economy. Souk News is your trusted guide, empowering you with the knowledge to make informed decisions.
My name is Veronica Nkechi Eze.
Charles Abana.
My name is Professor Martins Emeje.
Professor Sylvester Odion Akaine.
Keep
watching
Souk News TV.
The best news channel online.
It's elevating, it's enlightening, it's educating.
Muhammad Ali found his root in Africa, rumble in the jungle. I swear the king is humble. Jesse Jackson, O.J. Simpson, this is black history. Andrew Young visit Africa in the late 60s. Legend, Bob Marley make the life different. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are big names. They fought for black Americans in the old days. We need same revolution in our own ways. Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Mr. Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre and Eddie Murphy. American prosperity ain't complete with African poverty. It's legendary Idris Abdul Karim, and you are on to Souk News. You don't touch that dial.
The Three Wise Men. Iconic sculptures and statues adorn major metropolitan cities of the world. In Lagos, Nigeria, the statue of three men designed to depict the state's cultural heritage and to usher in visitors and tourists into the ever-accommodating center of excellence is no doubt an astounding work of art. Originally built under the administration of Colonel Raji Rasaki, designed by Bodu Shodende in 1991 and standing over 12 feet high, referred to as Agba Meta or Aro Meta, the three sculptured chiefs.
My name is Dr. Agility Obi.
My name is Etemere Glover. Naomi.
Well done, and shout out to Souk News.
Shout out to Souk News. I want to encourage everyone to keep watching Souk News. Shout out to Souk News, and yes, tune into them.
Keep watching Souk News. They are one in town.
Hey, we're watching Souk News.
Keep watching Souk News.
Keep watching Souk News. Catch them on YouTube and all social media channels.
Hey, my name is Frank Edowo, and I'm imploring you. No, forget that. I am forcing you, coercing you to always stay tuned to Souk News for your news requirements.
In the heart of sub-Saharan Africa, where commerce meets progress, welcome to Souk News, your source for business, economy, and development insight to drive nations forward. From the vibrant streets of Lagos, Africa's fastest economic hub, Souk News takes you on a journey of discovery, analyzing and reporting the facts that lay the foundation for growth and development. We don't just report the news, we create it. Souk News is more than a channel. It is a catalyst for change, spotlighting the stories that shape economies, inspire entrepreneurs, and fuel progress. Covering business, finance, technology, energy, and many more, Souk News provides a daily deep dive into the stories that matter, interviews with industry titans, and analysis that empowers your understanding of economic landscape. Join us daily as we dissect, discuss, and deliver the most relevant and factual news on business and the economy. Souk News is your trusted guide, empowering you with the knowledge to make informed decisions.
I'm okay.
My name is Raymond Bola Brown.
Hi, my name is Fred Amata, and you are on to Souk News.
If you are watching this channel for the first time, make sure you continue to watch it because this is Souk News.
Shout out to Souk News. Actually, I don't know. I really enjoyed the little moment I spent with you, and I think with more of this.
Souk News. Here's the Souk News who had the courage to transcend a locked off camera and actually have a conversation with a human being. It's a pleasure, Souk News. Thank you very much.
Tafawa Balewa Square, TBS. Tafawa Balewa Square was initially used as a horsing ground called Lagos Race Course. The edifice was constructed by General Yakubu Gowon in 1972 and named after Nigeria's first Prime Minister, Sir Tafawa Balewa. Tafawa Balewa Square is located at 45/57 Marse Bangboshe Street on Lagos Island, Lagos, and referred to as TBS. TBS is a 50,000-seater capacity venue and houses the Remembrance Arcade, the 26-story Independence House, which at a time was the country's tallest building. When Lagos served as the country's seat of government, the National Assembly Complex was within the TBS. Also in the square are the National Broadcasting Commission Office, the Nigerian Hydrological Services Agency Office.
Welcome back. So before we went on the break, I was talking about Nigeria's importation of petroleum. And as I mentioned, I said because there's a ban on Russian manufactured petroleum products. So as a result of that, the European Union is importing petrol from the Saudi Arabian countries in the Middle East. So as a result, European manufactured petroleum or European imported petroleum products are now heading to Africa, with Nigeria as a major destination. So hopefully this petrol importation from Europe will not last, because as I mentioned earlier on, the NNPCL in partnership with Dangote Refinery will start producing over 650,000 barrels per day. So that being said, now I have a guest to discuss this importation of petroleum with. His name is Mr. Julius Afolabi. He will be joining us via telephone call. Mr. Julius Afolabi is a premium business coach, a value improvement strategist, and the senior business executive for Blameless Site Solutions Limited. So welcome to Market Insights, Mr. Julius Afolabi.
Thank you very much.
Yes. So I was talking earlier on about the fact that Nigeria is currently importing petroleum, and yes, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation Limited has made efforts to actually reduce importation of petroleum products, but it has not yet stopped. So now I want to ask you, Mr. Julius Afolabi, now what are the main factors contributing to Nigeria's reliance on imported petroleum products?
Nigeria has been an import-dependent nation for quite a long time, and I think it's high time for us to endorse that particular habit. Now, the major factors contributing to our oil importation dependence is the fact that we have non-functional refineries years before the advent of the Dangote refinery. We had 4 refineries which were operating below the demand capacity of the demand for petroleum or crude oil, refined crude oil in Nigeria. The average daily consumption of the Nigerian demand, refined crude oil demand, is higher than the production capacities of the 4 refineries put together, even if they were functional. The 4 refineries put together, their capacity is less than 500,000 barrels a day. This is low compared to what the refined demand from Nigerians is. And unfortunately, those refineries are not 100% functional, even 50% functional. Now, we might think that it is close shade to think that the advent of Dangote refinery is going to cushion that particular effect. I'm not sure that that is a 100% gateway or a gateway card from importation of refined crude oil. Now, that's one of the factors, because we have insufficient refineries to refine our crude oil. Now, the fact is that we don't lack crude oil. We only lack the processing capacity and the infrastructure to make them so. Also, you'll find out that this inability is putting pressure on a lot of other things that are making it more difficult to use. Now, we have the options of creating this, what we call it now, import nearby co-location for refineries. Well, that is, we can situate these modern day refineries, which will not be as demanding, as financially demanding, but operationally efficient refineries than the one we have before. Now, the problem is that we can't fix the old refineries that we have, like the Kaduna refinery, the Warri refinery, and the 2 refineries in Port Harcourt. Fixing them will not even help us in the first place. So the best thing that we can do is to create
Okay, thank you very much for that, Mr. Julius Abiodun. So let's take a short break right now. When we get back, we'll still discuss further with Mr. Julius Afolabi. Stay tuned.
In the heart of sub-Saharan Africa, where commerce meets progress. Welcome to Souk News, your source for business, economy, and development insight that drive nations forward. From the vibrant streets of Lagos, Africa's fastest economic hub, Souk News takes you on a journey of discovery, analyzing and reporting the facts that lay the foundation for growth and development. We don't just report the news, we create it. Souk News is more than a channel. It is a catalyst for change, spotlighting the stories that shape economies, inspire entrepreneurs, and fuel progress. Covering business, finance, technology, energy, and many more, Souk News provides a daily deep dive into the stories that matter, interviews with industry titans, and analysis that empowers your understanding of economic landscape. Join us daily as we dissect, discuss, and deliver the most relevant and factual news on business and the economy. Souk News is your trusted guide, empowering you with the knowledge to make informed decisions.
My name is Veronica Nkechi Eze.
Charles Abana.
My name is Professor Martins Emeje.
Professor Sylvester Odion Akaine.
Keep
watching
Souk News TV.
The best news channel online.
It's elevating, it's enlightening, it's educating.
Muhammad Ali found his root in Africa, rumble in the jungle. I swear the king is humble. Jesse Jackson, O.J. Simpson, this is black history. Andrew Young visit Africa in the late 60s. Legend, Bob Marley make the life different. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X are big names. They fought for black Americans in the old days. We need same revolution in our own ways. Michael Jackson, Janet Jackson, Mr. Jay-Z, Snoop Dogg, Dr. Dre and Eddie Murphy. American prosperity ain't complete with African poverty. It's legendary Idris Abdul Karim, and you are on to Souk News. You don't touch that dial.
Lateef Jakande. Born Lateef Kayode Jakande in the Ekpetedo area of Lagos Island, Lagos State on July 1929. He studied at the Lagos Public School at Enuowa, Lagos Island, then at Bonham Memorial Methodist School, Port Harcourt, King's College, enrolled at Ilesha Grammar School, where he edited a literary paper called The Quarterly Mirror. Jakande began a career in journalism in 1949 with a daily service and joined the Nigerian Tribune in 1953. The owner, Chief Obafemi Awolowo, appointed Jakande editor-in-chief of the Tribune in 1956. Jakande established John West Publications in 1975 after leaving Tribune and began to publish the Lagos News. He served as the first president of the Newspaper Proprietors Association of Nigeria, NPAN. Jakande ran for election as executive governor of Lagos State in 1979 on the Unity Party of Nigeria platform. His administration was effective and open and implemented the cardinal policies of his party. He introduced housing and educational programs targeting the poor, building new neighborhood primary and secondary schools, and providing free primary and secondary education. He gave poor people's children education, and many of them are now very prominent in the society today. Jakande established the Lagos State University and constructed over 30,000 housing units. After the military takeover in 1983, Jakande was charged, prosecuted, and convicted of treason and later pardoned. He served as Minister of Works under the Sani Abacha military regime. He died in Lagos on February 11, 2021. Lateef Jakande was the first civilian governor of Lagos State. Lateef Kayode Jakande, Souk enlightenment.
Welcome back. So I'm still talking with my guest, Mr. Julius Afolabi. He's a senior business executive at Blameless Site Solutions Limited, and we are discussing Nigeria's petroleum product importation and how it's affecting the economy. So Mr. Julius, actually, he explained further as the fact that we have Dangote refineries, and yes, we are going to be producing fuel from Dangote refineries, but it's not going to be sufficient enough to help us with our petroleum consumption in the country. So Mr. Julius Afolabi, are you on the line?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay. So I want to know now, how has this dependence on imports of petroleum products impacted on the Nigerian economy? How has it affected
Thank you very much for that.
Economy? Yes.
Yes, thank you very much for that question. Of course, you know very well that one of the first impacts is the fact that it's affecting our foreign reserves, right? And for as long as we keep importing, right, it will be affecting our foreign exchange reserves. At the same time, it will be having impact on the valuation of the naira. And that's why you have pressure on the Nigerian currency, naira. And that's why you see inflation in the economy right now. For as long as we continue to import for consumption, rather than exporting for local product, local consumption, and for export, we will be suffering imbalance in the international trade and market. So that simply means that we will continue to experience inflation, high inflation like we have right now. And for as long as this importation continues, it's going to trickle down into all other sectors. Since Nigeria's mainstay is oil, and this oil, we have sufficient crude oil that we sell at crude form and get lower returns because we import the refined one. So this importation, when we bring it in itself, because of the wide demand, there's a great demand for it. So the importation is not going to reduce anytime soon. The cost is not going to reduce anytime soon until we take care of the things that I've mentioned initially. So it's going to affect our foreign exchange reserve, it's going to affect our GDP, it's going to affect our per capita income. You'll find out that the prices of goods and services are yet going to increase. Other sectors that the good and the windfall of that oil-producing countries enjoy will not reach Nigeria, right? And this is a function of leadership and political will, right? For as our leaders are ready to do what is needful and what is necessary, we will not get out of this mess. That's the sincere truth. So the impact is huge. It's going to impact grossly on the downstream because you still have the prices of fuel, which is responsible for quite a number of things within the Nigerian economy and the real sector. You understand? The prices are still going to go up. For as long as we keep importing and oil subsidy is removed, and we cannot get a clean bill on the impact assessment and recovery from oil subsidy cost reduction intervention, if we have a clean slate that gives us how much we have been able to save because of the removal of oil subsidy and where the money is going into, if it is channeled back into ensuring that we don't continue importation, then we will see a less effect on it. Now, it is putting a strain on the demand for dollar, right? Because if you have to import, you have to pay in dollars, right? And if you are paying in dollars, it's putting a demand on dollar. And that's why the price of dollar as against naira is going to continue to shoot up. And when that happens in the Nigerian foreign exchange market, a lot of other things will happen. There will be a lot of what you call round tripping, and there's also going to be a lot of currency broking, right? Because of currency broking, round tripping within the banking sector. So as long as that continues, it will be putting pressure on the prices of common goods and services, right? And for as long as the currency is affected, it will spiral. It will go spirally into all other sectors of the economy. And wage. You understand? Cost of living is going to be high. The standard of living will probably fall. So you will see that it's going to have a huge effect because we are not manufacturing. The import substitution industries that are supposed to be influenced by the boom, windfall from oil income is not going to be there because we are spending more than, and the budget will continue to be in deficit, and our debt is going to continue to increase because there's a specific amount that we cannot pay beyond if we are to stay as a vibrant economy. So it will continue to make us a less production-driven economy. And for as long as that is the case, the situation of the economy is going to be in comatose. That is the sincere truth. So it has a very long-reaching effect, both in the short term and the long term as well. And this has been an old mess that ought to have been cleared before now. So we can't continue in this particular mess except to take initiative and actionable remedies to be able to stop it. So the impact is huge. Okay. Thank you.
Yes, thank you for that, Mr. Julius Afolabi. Yes. Now, I want to know, now, what opportunities exist for Nigeria to develop its own refining capacity? Now, you know, I mentioned at the beginning of the program that we have refineries in Rivers State, in Delta State, and in Kaduna State. And the NNPCL has also started process of reforming our refinery in Rivers State, the Port Harcourt refinery. It has reached phase 1 of its completion, and hopefully it will start refining petroleum products over 60,000 barrels per day. But it's just what they are still working on the refineries in Kaduna State and Delta State. So now, what opportunities exist for Nigeria to develop its domestic refining capacity? Yes, Mr. Julius.
Yes, the opportunities available for us is this: we have the land, we have the raw materials, we have the human resource to be able to do this, right? And the fact that the latest forms of refineries, which will not require so much of heavyweight materials and will produce more efficiently, latest technology improvements gives us the opportunity to be able to create more refineries more easily. The existing refineries that we are trying to fix is going to cost us more than producing new technology-driven refineries of today. You see? So you see it now. It's like going back to fix those refineries to generate 60,000 capacity, which will also relieve us. But the relief is going to come at a slower pace compared to creating new, improved refineries at a lower cost. Now, the Dangote refinery that is going to produce for us 660,000 barrels per day capacity costs less than $20 billion. Now, go back and check how much has been separated for the repairs of these four near dead, if not dead, refineries, right? And look at the locations of the refineries itself. Now, if we have the land mass, you understand, if we have the raw material, the crude presence, and more discoveries are coming on today, and we have the land mass, and we have the resources to finance this, why don't we go into producing more refineries that are going to have a better and improved capacity than the ones we're trying to fix? Just look at it. It's like you go into the barber shop using scissors when there are new improved new simple tools that you could use that could make the cutting your hair very fast and simple. As long as that, it's just like you having a blender today and trying to fix your grinding machine, right? Just check it out. Look at the convenience, look at the ease, and look at the cost efficiency of that. So the opportunities for improving our production capacity or developing more refineries is there. It's just that we are not ready to move ourselves in that direction. It can be faced. The good thing about it is that it can be faced. We can put them into phases, right? In phase 1, we want to produce 4 more refineries. If there are some countries in oil-producing countries in the world that don't have crude oil, but are simply refining countries, they only refine crude oil and export, and they live on that. Why should we that have the human resource, we have the natural resource, we have the crude presence, not deploy all our will, our leadership and political will into creating more refineries and go back to seeing the ones that are near dead will not produce the capacity that we want, at the same time cost us more. It is cost insensitive to go back fixing those refineries at the price at which they are fixed, when the cost of producing more refineries could be low than that and at a higher capacity. So you can see is that it's going to take us a long time to be able to come out of this mess if we go into fixing them. While fixing them is not a bad decision, but it's not an effective and strategic decision compared to the demand that we have ahead of us. So demand is not a problem, right? If demand is not a problem, why can't we produce? Why can't we produce and refine? Right? If we produce and refine, it's going to solve a lot of problems because the effect of refining what we produce to be able to consume locally and equally export is going to make Nigeria one of the nations that everybody desires to come to. Now, the European nations and the other parts of the world that are bringing their own people that are, selling their oil to us right now, our refined oil to oil right now, they already know Africa and Nigeria as a test market, right? They know that our psychology, we are independent, we have independent psychology, right? And the mentality of if it is not from abroad, it's not good enough. We must localize our appetite. If we really want to build our own world, we want to improve our refined production capacity. So that's one thing that we must, and it has to come from leadership and political will to be able to do that. So we reduce governance and move those funds back, and the subsidy removal recovery, right? Because NNPC itself is supposed to be a profit and investment center. But in time past, over the years, NNPC is not proven to be a profit for Nigeria. Rather, it's become a hub to be able to that has facilitated a lot of what things that we cannot continue to think about on air. Short oil theft and insecurity as well as threats to this increasing this capacity. Once there is the leadership and political will to be able to put all the structures in place, we would have an improved, refined product capacity in Nigeria.
Thank you very much for that, so, Mr. Julius Afolabi. Yes. Yes, I totally understand you. Yes. So you're actually saying, yes, it would be better if we just forget about reforming or fixing those old refineries in Delta states, River states, and in Kaduna states, and we should focus on actually building a more current, more modern refinery to add to what we have to Dangote refineries. Okay, that's hopefully, yes, it can also be achieved actually with our current administration. It can be achieved. Okay, so just before we round up, yes, who are the current stakeholders that are benefiting from this system of importing refined petroleum products actually? And because we know that the reason why there have been so much roadblocks concerning how to stop importing refined petroleum products actually is because some people are actually benefiting from it. But how can we actually, as a united country, come together to actually achieve the fact that we do not want to do this anymore, and that all stakeholders need to agree on this so that we can actually be united in this decision? Yes, Mr. Julius.
Let me get it clearly on that.
Okay, so I said that currently, this current system of importing refined petroleum products, actually, now I know that there are some people who are benefiting from it. So now the current situation, how can governments partner in partnership with the private sector, try to bring all of us on board that we need to actually put an end to importing refined petroleum products, and that we need to actually not resist this change and welcome it instead? Yes, you've made a suggestion about how we need to build more refineries instead of trying to fix the old ones that we have. But going further, the stakeholders in the petroleum sector, are we all on board on this decision, or more people still prefer to be importing refined petroleum products?
Yes, you agree with me that it's not far-fetched that, of course, there are huge beneficiaries from this current system, and they will stop at nothing to ensure that the system continues this way because they continue to feed on that largesse. So that's why it still falls back to what? To leadership and political will, right? And that is simply enshrined in policy administration. The moment there is a policy in place that is going to enable private investors and there are incentives to allow them to do that, the moment there is withdrawal from government fixing the price at which investors are going to sell and allowing the forces of demand and supply to determine the market price, of course, we are going to see a lot of investors in, right? If there is no investment opportunity, Dangote will not pick that. Of course, that particular refinery is financed by what either stakeholders or a particular financial institution, right? And that's a private investment. So the reason why we are saying that we should have public-private partnership so that there can be balance of powers, right? And that will be enshrined in what? In policy. It is policy. The Petroleum Industrial Bill and other new policies that can facilitate this is what is needed, and the will to be able to implement that particular those policies to the later. Those are the things that are involved. So if we want to encourage private investment in building more refineries in Nigeria, we need the policy documents, and we need the balance of power in such policy documents in order to allow the private investors to be able to come in. The government can serve as a regulatory body, and the regulation should be in such a way that it is not deterrent to what investors coming in, right? So those are that's what we can do in order to discourage it. So like I mentioned, that there is no doubt that there are specific cartels that are feasting from this particular current system, and they will stop at nothing to allow the system. The Nigerian population is too much for this to run. In a country of over 200 million citizens cannot be hijacked by a few. It depends on leadership. If leadership takes the responsibility to want to actually put this particular system in check and allow the system move Nigeria forward to come into play, then the promises of the new administration would have been upheld. But without achieving this, I would say we will continue in the mess and the rot that we are seeing in. It's not going to be a better future for Nigeria.
Thank you very much, Mr. Julius Afolabi. It was really great having you on Market Insights this morning as we discuss the petroleum products importation going on in Nigeria, and we are exploring new ways as to how to solve this. And you have shared your thoughts on this matter. So thank you so much for joining us on Market Insights this morning.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yes, and we hope you can come on the show next time.
Very well.
Yes, okay. So let's look at our money market figures from throughout this week. That's from Monday, 11th of March to today, Friday, 15th March. So what our money market figures say. So today, let's look at, so from Monday, the dollar, we're going to focus specifically on the dollar rates, both the CBN rates and the unofficial market rate. So today on Monday, the dollar rate was selling for 1,550 naira, and in the parallel market it was selling for 1,618 naira. And on Tuesday it was still the same figure. At the CBN rate it was 1,550 naira, and in the parallel market it was 1,615 naira. And on Wednesday, the dollar rate at the CBN market was 1,520 naira. It had reduced at the CBN rate, and in the parallel market, it had also reduced to 1,603 naira. And on Thursday, the dollar was selling for at the CBN rate 1,520 naira, and the parallel market was selling for 1,605 naira. And today, Friday, the dollar is currently selling for 1,520 naira. It had remained the same figure on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at the official CBN rate. And in the parallel market, it was the same figure today, yesterday, Thursday, 1,605 naira, and today, 1,605 naira also. So those are, we focus specifically on the dollar rates at the parallel market and the official CBN market rates also. So those are our money market figures from Monday to Friday, focusing on the dollar specifically. Okay. Okay, so that's our time today on Market Insights as we talked about the current situation in Nigeria, the fact that we are currently importing petroleum products to the country, how it's affecting our economy. And I discussed this with Mr. Julius Afolabi, who is the Senior Business Executive for Blameless Site Solutions Limited. And he went into depth in this matter, really explaining how it's affecting our economy and what steps we can take to actually resolve this issue. He also suggested that it would be better if the government could build newer refineries instead of fixing the old ones. So that's our time today as we discuss these issues. And we look forward to joining you on Monday next week, where we talk further about the Nigerian economy and issues affecting us and also solutions to these issues. I am your host, Lavina Emma. Stay tuned to our next program on Souk News.
The heart of sub-Saharan Africa, where commerce meets progress. Welcome to Souk News, your source for business, economy, and development insight that drive nations forward. From the vibrant streets of Lagos, Africa's fastest economic hub, Souk News takes you on a journey of discovery, analyzing and reporting the facts that lay the foundation for growth and development. We don't just report the news, we create it. Souk News is more than a channel. It is a catalyst for change, spotlighting the stories that shape economies, inspire entrepreneurs, and fuel progress. Covering business, finance, technology, energy, and many more, Souk News provides a daily deep dive into the stories that matter, interviews with industry titans, and analysis that empowers your understanding of economic landscape. Join us daily as we dissect, discuss, and deliver the most relevant and factual news on business and the economy. Souk News is your trusted guide, empowering you with the knowledge to make informed decisions.